Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, on Friday nights, on Friday nights, we're over at 80 it's like she's really funny.
Yeah, when you drop.
Yeah. Oh, welcome to From the Halls of Justice. And we've held, not captive, but the Honorable Judge Mitchell said that he would stay with us for a segment 2 because we weren't finished. And he's so fascinating. He really is. So, I would like to continue. Number 1, Judge Mitchell, you are a Superior Court judge. And not only that, I got to tell you this. From where I sit right now, you know, for my ballot, I would write your name in as the presidential candidate of my choice because you are the one that has everything going on and you know how to make this stuff work. And you have touched and changed the lives of people like I've never seen before. So those other people are just, Anyway. So, I would like to know, how have your colleagues responded to what you are doing?
I think they look at me, many of them look at me somewhat quizzically. There are a lot of judges who certainly just can't understand me going down to Skid Row, 3 times a week. They would feel completely unsafe.
I thought it was twice a week. You go 3 times?
Well, Mondays, Thursdays, and then on Saturdays we do our long runs.
Wow.
Okay. So, but there are judges who clearly support what I'm doing, encourage me, give me kudos.
Do they run with you?
No, none of them.
I'm
No,
sorry.
we're waiting for that one.
Okay.
Okay.
So, you're going to talk about this later on in the show, and one of the questions was, tell us about some of your success stories. And with us tonight, we have a couple of your success stories, and this is like just so wonderful. It's so exciting, and we have Mr. Langston with us, and kudos to both of you. And we also have, he was on the first show. So Leon, I'm so glad that you're here. But wait a minute, I love your last name because it's like a first name, but Fritz. Fritz is so cool. And you're looking good too, my brother. And from running, you've lost 21 pounds?
Yes, I just took a microfit test from when I first got to the mission to where I'm at now. 21 pounds lost.
Wow.
Fit in every other category. And I feel it. It feels great.
Well, you're looking good.
Feels
You
great.
are looking good.
Not bad for an old man.
Well, and the movie is out. Superman versus Batman kind of thing. So Judge Mitchell is like my Superman icon. Between the president and Superman, he's got it going on. So, Mr. Langston, we left off. There are a couple of things that are just so fascinating about your story. And that is, number one, the judge says, and Leon says, that you mentored him. You can run faster than they do?
Yes, but it always wasn't like that.
Well, we sort of left off at your story, and I find it fascinating. Number one, that you were in your car, and thank God it was a miracle. And my mother is in the studio, and I'm sure she's in the back, and they have to hold her down, going, praise the Lord. That the young men passed over you. That was the Lord giving you your answer to that prayer. And so you went from the back of the class to the front of the class,
Yes.
which is really interesting because there's a service that I attend on Saturday nights. See, if I start running, I might actually get out of the country and go somewhere. But there's a service that I attend on Saturday nights, and I try to be relaxed. So I always sit sort of in the back of the service. But I guess when you move up to the front, things happen.
So
you went from the back of the class to the front of the class, and what happened? Continue on. I want to hear.
So during school, I just made the switch to just always sit in the front of the class.
Okay.
And it's I don't know what exactly made me do that decision, but what I'm learning now is it's better when you're always uncomfortable. Because if you're comfortable, you're just chilling, you're not doing anything, so it's best to be uncomfortable. And that's what I can really see. Somehow my mind like framed that for me to do that, just to sit in front of the class, to be uncomfortable, because if I'm uncomfortable,
You're growing.
It's going to grow me, and I'm going to be more prepared, and it's going to make me to do more. But I really didn't want that, but as the field, I wanted to give back to the communities, and I'm just sitting there like, if I really want to do this, I'm going to have to step up and do something. At least, like, it was just hard for me to focus and always pay attention, because I just keep thinking back, like, all the stuff I've been through. So I just kept it, like, my thoughts stayed in the back of the class. I stayed in the back of the class, and I want to share it with nobody, because I always thought to share it is overwhelming. It's overwhelming in my head, so if I tell somebody else, I just feel like it's overwhelming for them. And just sitting, it's just, I just got out of the habit, like, let's sit in the front to see what different happens.
And Raphael was in the front?
He wasn't, he was one seat behind me, so he was just, hey. And that's how that conversation happened, just invited me to run.
So keep going. So this is the part where, how did you meet Judge Mitchell? And you told him you were going to be there?
Yeah. So,
but you didn't go?
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't show up. I didn't want to show up because it's like
6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, because I was in Compton. I was stationed in Compton, getting to Redondo Beach. So I already had to get up at least 4:30 in the morning. Wow. So it's just like, how am I gonna add that to the run and this so and so? And he just said 6 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, I'll try to be there. And in my head, I already analyzed it. I'm like, I'm not gonna go. I'm not about to get up that early. And it's funny because every look on like your reaction, like 6 in the morning, is like, wow, but it's a lot behind that. Like, it's life-changing things behind that. You're just showing up at 6 in the morning. So I didn't go.
Well, in my head, okay, just to justify my thoughts here, what I really thinking is that, well, number one, I'd like to be on vacation if it ever happened and I should have. And then number two, I'm measuring out what I'd have to give up. I'd have to like get in bed really super early to purposely set my clock to make sure that this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
But these guys don't go to bed super early, okay?
Okay.
I mean, I know their schedules. I mean, Brian will come in to run, sometimes 4 or 5 hours of sleep. We have another guy by the name of James Knox. James Knox gets off at work. He works graveyard at a warehouse.
Oh my God.
He gets off at 2 o'clock in the morning. He forces himself to stay awake until 5:30, okay, so he can run with us. Okay,
These men respect you.
Well, it's the level of commitment they have to the program and, to restructuring their lives.
Right.
That's amazing.
Okay. Right.
Does he go to sleep after he runs?
He does.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead.
Where was I?
You didn't show up, or you were intending not to show up. What prompted you to show up?
What happened the next day?
Okay.
Right.
We want to know.
About me already analyzing that I wasn't gonna show up, Craig showed up in the classroom with his and he shared the story, and Raphael already told me that he knew a judge, and he's like Googled it, and he's like, here, look at him. I'm like, that's not gonna get, like, in my head, I'm like, that's not gonna get me to run. That's not but I didn't. I believed him, but I didn't think that he would
That's
really
because you're not
come
a woman,
to the...
and he's married.
Right.
But if he was, there'd be like 1,500 women following you.
Right.
No, okay, go ahead. But go ahead.
But I just didn't believe that a criminal court judge can take the time out of his day to come to a classroom.
It's
and
fascinating.
When he walked through the door, I'm just like,
Yes, it is.
Wow.
And I'm just like, oh crap. And he shared his story, like, I already have a problem with, like, focusing, so I'm just like, his story just kept me focused, and I'm just like, oh crap. So I knew, like, it was something coming in, like, Like, it was just like the struggles he's been through, and then where he's at today just made me have the sense of there's something out there for me. You can do anything, no matter how where you came from, no matter if you came with nothing, you can still get something.
And I'm not going to share much of my story because I have no intention of doing that. But there was a period in my life when I was living in a car. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I shared that in that first class.
Right.
Okay. And it caused a lot of the people who think, well, you know, you're a Superior Court judge, you must have lived a life of privilege, okay, to be able to get that level of education, to get that appointment by the governor, you know. And I think, you know, revealing just a few things about my own history, you know, caused them to really stand back and reevaluate some of those assumptions. Okay?
All right.
And I want to say, because sometimes when you have trouble focusing, it's because you're so bright and you catch on things really. So it takes a lot to keep you interested. But
thank you.
He's fascinating. I can see why you were fascinated. But go ahead. You're bright.
He just shared my story, and I wanted to know more. I wanted to become like his friend, like to share that, so I can stop complaining about my life and how I went through all these different struggles, and I'm blaming my parents for why I didn't have a good education, why am I like this, why I'm a shy person, why I don't like talking to people. I was just blaming my parents for like all that. So it was just like I wanted to change. Like, I was looking for the next opportunity to do something, and I just thought that 6 o'clock run was, it was just hard for me to really make that decision to get up at 6, because I didn't have a car then. It was just all the bus, so it was like, how am I going to strategize this and still get to work? Because I was working full-time and going to school full-time, so it's like, this is not going to work out.
Oh, I got to tell you this. He's the only Superior Court judge that has ever shown up at the studio, and he took a bus. I was floored with that, too.
We took the bus tonight.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Okay, go
The
ahead.
majority of trips that I take with the judge is on public transportation.
As
a matter of fact, every trip that I've taken with you.
There you go.
I've never met anybody like this. Okay, go ahead.
So after he was done with his speech, I just simply told the teacher, like, I really gotta go use the restroom, and she's like, no, this is time for us to debrief. And I'm like, no, I really gotta go, and I just like ran out, caught him in the hallway, and asked him, was like, I think I asked, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what I said, just how can I be more involved in your life, because I want to learn. And he's like, just show up running. And I'm just like, all right.
And Brian shared with me some educational deficits that were holding him back. And, you know, given my experience in education, I recognized that, yes, they were deficits, but they could be overcome. Okay? And so let's not focus on what you can't do. Let's build up the skills, you know, that you need to move forward.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I think that following or 2 days
That's why he'd
2
be
days
my
after.
president. That's what we're doing. Okay, go ahead.
Like, I think it was, if it wasn't the next day, it was the other day after, I got up out of bed, showed up, and did the run. And
how did you feel?
At first, I didn't like it because I was in the back.
Okay.
But there was a point where, okay, I wasn't always in the back, but on that first run, like, I just ran all out. I didn't have no condition to run,
You didn't
so I
pace
just did.
yourself, or...
I just did what it did, and I got to the top of this bridge, and I didn't have no energy, so they all ran past. And I'm like, oh, that's it. And I was the youngest, so I'm like, yeah, I can't. This is something I can't do, and I can't do. And then I just started reflecting, like, I made it this far, like, and I already knew that. I just felt that Raphael was in that classroom for a reason. Craig came and spoke to us for a reason. It's like, I can't turn back, and I don't want to turn back. So it's like, I'm just going to have to stick it out and, I guess, do what I got to do. And just by run, just talking to everybody that runs, they will always like tell me like their struggles and everything, and I just always reflect back like, man, what am I complaining about? Like, why, like this, that, and they just always uplift me, and sometimes I uplift them. So it's like I need to wake up and run just to get that talk, just to see those faces to remind me throughout my daily. Like, do I go through the day? I just remember faces, remember conversations.
How many of them are out there with you?
It ranges from
Anywhere from 10 to 20.
10 to 20.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, and it's not all heavy, you know, when we're out there running.
Mhm.
Okay. I mean, it's just, you know, you show up, folks hug each other, you get out there, you know, you're just around people who are positive, who are, you know, looking forward in their life, you know, who've got months of sobriety under their belt. You know, they're not pretentious, they're honest.
Right.
Okay. And it's just good human interaction.
It is, and it's all going in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things that I really like. We're all headed for the same destination. We're all going this together, and it's the camaraderie of this group is just fascinating. It compels you to action.
So when you get to the bridge, is the bridge the halfway mark, or is that close to the end?
Closer to the
No,
the
it's like a
second
quarter-
bridge. No, the
quarter-
second bridge.
Second bridge?
It was the
Oh,
second bridge I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second bridge is the bridge where I turned off on my first run.
Okay.
I took a different route where Brian was escorting me.
Okay.
And the interesting thing about Raphael is not the fastest runner.
Right.
But Raphael is the person whoever the slowest runner was, Raphael would hold back
Mm-hmm.
to make sure they never got lost.
Right.
Okay? And that's just the kind of guy he is.
Oh my God,
Okay?
that's beautiful.
Mhm.
And he's doing quite well.
Mm-hmm.
In spite of his past and what he's been through, he's doing quite well.
He now works for the DWP.
Okay.
Okay? Making a very good salary, and he volunteers at the juvenile detention halls. He drives families up to prisons who otherwise wouldn't be able to visit loved ones who are incarcerated. Okay? I mean, he's exceptional on a variety of levels.
Now, for this, how long had you been running? Tell me about some of these trips. How did you get to Rome, India? Where else?
So
Vietnam. How did this happen?
so right, like that first run, they just got back. I think you guys just got back from Ghana, right?
Correct.
They just got back from Ghana.
Wow.
Which is another thing that shocked me. I'm like, wow, y'all travel the world, like y'all do all this, like why not show up, like just to, because for me, it was already for me being younger, I just didn't believe that you can go higher, and I never thought about getting on a plane. I never thought to visit a different country, and I just stuck around to see if it was true, like, and the first trip was well, I'm gonna talk about my first marathon was the LA marathon, and I only had 2.5 months of training, and Craig kept pushing me like, you sure you don't want to run it? I'm like, I don't think I'm ready. He's like, you'll be ready, and just I didn't believe it, but I just gave it a shot, and I got into the marathon race, which was the painfulest race of my life. After that, like during that race, I'm just like, I'm not running with these guys no more. I can't do this. I don't know how they do this. Like, it was that much painful. But as soon as I crossed the finish line, the whole story changed. It's like, wow, I really just ran this whole marathon. I completed it. I finished it, even though I doubted myself in the beginning. Like, I don't want to run no marathon. I don't think I'm up for that. And then after that, I just got interested in the next race. Our next race was the Rome Marathon, and that was going to be my first time to get out the country. So I took that.
How did that happen?
You can
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, on one level, how does it happen? We trained for months. Okay, but we took 25 runners to Rome, and essentially at $3,000 a pop. Okay, that's $75,000. And so we had some friends of mine primarily, some family members. who ponied up the money, and and we were able to come up with $75,000.
Wow.
Okay, and that's how it happened. And what was wonderful is to get a lot of these guys. I mean, most of them certainly didn't have passports, so we had to get them all passports. And many of them had never been on a plane before, let alone travel 12 to 14 hours to get there to their destination. Okay, and then for them to land in Rome, and we took a side trip to Florence. We had an audience with Pope Francis.
Oh my God.
Okay, I mean, there were incredible experiences. Okay.
You went from Compton to Rome
in a very short period of time. Okay.
Yeah, it happened really fast.
That's a miracle, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But it is a statement that the program wants to make, that if you are willing to commit to something, okay, and you give of yourself in a really meaningful way, the rewards are tremendous.
Absolutely.
Okay, and for those in recovery, they understand if they commit and stay sober, okay, the family relationships that had fallen to the wayside, those can be repaired. I mean, if you're familiar with the 12-step process, that's all a part of it. Okay, and so traveling overseas is just a lesson that constantly is driven home. You make the commitment, you do what is necessary, okay, your life is going to be fundamentally changed.
I never thought I'd get a passport. I never saw that in my future.
I was going to say, you went to Rome?
No, I didn't go to Rome.
No.
Okay.
This will be my first international trip, well, besides Mexico, but this will be my first time out of the country. But I never saw myself getting a passport.
Is this the Vietnam trip?
The Vietnam trip.
Okay.
And, there seemed like there was a few obstacles with birth certificates and, but one day the U.S. Passport Agency called me and told me that everything was cool. They're going to send me my passport. And when I got it, I couldn't believe it. I looked at it and I kept looking at it and I just, like, how did this happen?
Right.
And that experience right there is just a reward.
Right.
To be able to hold a passport. I mean, with the past as murky as mine. And these experiences just keep
From
happening.
6th Street to 5th Street?
From 5th Street, yeah.
Wow.
These experiences just keep happening. And, there's a few guys that I really, you get close to that have had some issues. And sometimes I wonder, why I didn't see it coming. But I also say to myself, I'm glad it wasn't me. Okay. I'm glad it wasn't me, because these miracles and this family reunification, this friendship that's being developed right now, those don't happen on 5th Street. They just don't happen. It's like I'm living a miraculous life.
Yes, you are.
It's like, it's becoming diamonds and pearls.
Yeah. Prince.
Yeah.
And diamonds and pearls.
And it's just the welcoming factor that this mission and the Runners Club has afforded me, that I'm really grateful for, because that's all I really wanted to do, is belong to something. Belong to something that I felt real comfortable with, and this is what I'm getting.
You gentlemen have such great purpose. It really is. I've said it, before, and it's my true feelings and my admiration for. Number one, I'm a pastor's daughter, and above all in my life, I honor God. I honor God and the Lord Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. And the next job after that is the honorable judge. And I think what he's doing, because it's God knows what he's doing when he appoints our judges. Yes. And he changes lives. He does. Okay. You're so awesome.
He compels to action.
He does.
And he doesn't do it with a rah-rah, coachy type of communication. He does it by example.
Yes.
You hear about these stories, you see the people he's surrounded with, you want to do something, you want to be a part of. It's like I got dropped into something really, really good. You know, let's not blow this.
That's wonderful.
You know, and I'm really grateful.
I was leaving the gas station one day, and like I said, this is after the show that I had done, the very first one with Judge Mitchell and Leon and Oscar. And I pulled in to get gas. I saw a policeman in the car, and I saw a gentleman that was lying on the ground, and he was wrapped up. And I thought, I hope he's okay. You know, that was my first thought. I would have never thought that before, after, you know, until the show. Yeah. And some men went over and they made sure that he was fine and that everything was working and he was alive. And but it really did. It changed my life.
And the thing that I hope that your viewers appreciate, listening to Fritz, listening to Brian, you know, too often we say, okay, Skid Row, let me shift and look at something else, because Skid Row is not pretty to look at, okay? And someone who has substance abuse, and maybe substance abuse for 15, 20 years, okay? They're a lost cause, okay? No, they're not, okay? And maybe someone who is labeled special education and has certain learning deficits, if we can't figure out how to lift these people up, okay, what an incredible loss for the larger community, okay? And, I mean, that is what I get out of it, okay, is, you know, it is, when I get out there and run with the guys, it is a statement to me, Craig, do not write off anybody, okay?
Wow.
Don't make assumptions, okay, that depreciate people. And, you know, it's something that hits me between the eyes 3 times a week.
That's awesome. Dominic walked in here. Dominic,
yes.
Did we have 2 minutes?
Yes.
We had 2 minutes.
We've had 2 minutes? Well, I didn't know that. No.
The clock started late.
Is that what happened? Okay.
It wasn't going initially.
Well, since I don't know exactly where we are, Dominic, but you'll let me know. It'll be all right. I think that's absolutely awesome. And the call that's on your life and the purpose that you've answered is, you're so brave. You're a genius, but it's just so awesome. And the call that your men have answered, and the dedication that they have risen to.
And the call that they're being true to themselves.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, that's what I hear from Brian. That's what I hear from Leon. Okay, you know, at different stages of their lives, they're being true to the best in themselves. Okay, you know, and it doesn't get better than that.
Your Honor, you've done well.
Okay. They've done well.
Oh my God. Well, depending upon where we are, thank you for joining us on From the Halls of Justice. You gentlemen are going to be running all over the world, and if there's any way to help, I know. Okay, show up at 5:30 in the morning or 6 o'clock, or there's a website. I know because I Googled the website. Is it 100 Midnight Mission?
You can Google the Midnight Mission, and that'll get you there.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you can't run, then there's other things that you can do to further the cause. And I just want to see this go on and on and on, because your lives are such a light, and you're such an inspiration, and you have changed and touched the lives of other people. And I want to thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Okay, appreciate it very much. Okay.
I guess
Back on the bus.
All right.
that's amazing. It's totally amazing. And my mom is...
Where's your check? There it is.
I'll get you a copy of the show. It's going to go on YouTube, and I'll get you a copy of the show. And it's